Good morning. A Syrian family who found refuge here from the bloodshed and brutal regime in their homeland are now experiencing the toxic side of Canada's democracy: virulent, politically driven hate. We're beginning this hour with their story as CBC News launches a wider investigation into hate crimes across Canada, exposing how hate spreads, where it thrives, and what governments, institutions, and police are doing about it. But we're going to begin with Michael Serapio. And as I mentioned, this Syrian family's particular case experiencing the polarization that exists in so much of our disputes and discussions today.
Absolutely. And this is tied, in fact, to the election campaign that we've been tracking these many weeks. Now, we have to talk about this family. They're the Al-Soufi family, as Heather was saying, refugees to this country, moving here in 2015. Now, that was the same year that Justin Trudeau was elected as Prime Minister, the same year that he famously said that he'd bring tens of thousands of refugees, Syrian refugees, to this country. And not only did the Al-Soufi family come here and find refuge, they also thrived, starting a restaurant in Toronto's trendy Queen West area, very popular restaurant, which they've now had to shut down because they are experiencing death threats and hate threats. Take a listen to a spokesperson for the Al-Soufi family.
We are heartbroken about having to make this decision. However, we could not put our family members, staff, and patrons in danger. The magnitude of hate we are facing is overwhelming. We know this hate does not reflect the people of Toronto. The people of Toronto are loving, welcoming people.
Now, perhaps not reflective of the greater city, but certainly we know that Al-Soufi, the son of the family, was assaulted over the weekend. They received a number of death threats, among them messages that say that they would go back to Syria in a box, another saying that the family would, quote, suffer immensely. Now, the Al-Soufi family notified police that they were getting these threats a week ago, but the hate has not stopped. The family becoming a target after the restaurant owner's son took part in a protest at a Maxime Bernier appearance at Mohawk College in Hamilton. Take a look at what happened there on September the 29th. Of course, Bernier, the leader of the People's Party, has built a platform that calls for, in part, a reduction in immigration numbers, as well as an end to the government's official multiculturalism policy. That is why the protesters were out there against the Bernier appearance. But in addition to the chanting and shouting, some of the protesters also blocked an 81-year-old woman with a walker from entering the event. Take a look at that. Now, this video was widely shared on social media by many, including members of the Yellow Vest Canada and Rise Canada. Some people online even calling for violence against the family after identifying the son in the orange T-shirt in the video and sharing the family's personal information online. Now, that is why the family has immediately closed their business, to the disappointment of many who live in the neighborhood. Take a listen.
They're such nice people, and they just did not deserve any of that.
I feel really sad about it. It's quite unfortunate because they're super lovely people.
This is really, really ugly and unnecessary, and I'm very shocked and saddened to see that people in the city of Toronto have the capacity to do something so hateful.
So an example of one family's experience with hate in this country, and as you say, just an example of the polarization that we're seeing in the political discourse now in Canada.
The family has talked about the son who was attending that protest, identified and admitted that he was there. And what are they saying further now about his participation and how it all links to this?
Well, they say he deeply regrets the fact that he did not intervene when that 81-year-old woman was being stopped from going into the protest. They say he apologizes for what took place, his part in it, that he's been an activist standing up for humanitarian rights. But also interesting to note that it's not just the family, the Al-Soufi family speaking here, but also the son of that 81-year-old woman. Well, take a look at what he put onto Twitter last night. He says that it is disgusting that people have threatened this poor man's livelihood because of the stupid actions allegedly taken by his son. Anyone that supports this is sick. We have laws. The crimes of a son are not the responsibility of the parent. We have the rule of law here. And, you know, as we discussed this, the Prime Minister actually just responded this morning to this story. Take a look at what we're seeing from the Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, who took to Twitter, who says the following: hatred and threats of violence have no place in Canada. We are always stronger together than when we are divided. So this story certainly getting a lot of attention, but the greater issue, as you say, the focus as we begin this whole series on hatred in this country.